The first time I realised something was really off, it wasn't a lipstick stain or a late-night work emergency. It was a box of tissues on my side of the bed that I didn't buy, and the fact that my wife, Dana, looked annoyed that I noticed it. I remember standing there in the bedroom with my socks half on, staring at the box like it was evidence at a crime scene, and she goes, "It's just tissues. Can we not do this today?" That sentence, "Can we not do this today?" landed in my gut in a way I still can't fully explain. Because I hadn't accused her of anything. I hadn't even said a word. I'd just looked. And if you've been married long enough, you know, when someone starts arguing with you before you even open your mouth, it's usually because they've been having that argument in their head for a while. I'm 52. Dana is 49. We've been together a little over 20 years. No kids, not by choice exactly. It just never happened. And after a while, you stop asking the universe for explanations and you just live your life. We had what I thought was a steady marriage. Not perfect, some ruts, some long stretches where you feel like roommates. But we were the kind of couple who had a rhythm. Coffee in the morning, dinner at 6, Netflix at 9. The kind of boring people who actually like being boring. Then, last year, Dana hit what she kept calling a wall. It started with her job. She worked in HR for a mid-sized company, and there was a restructure. New boss came in, younger. Big ideas, as Dana would say, with an eye roll. She started coming home drained, picking at her food, snapping at me over dumb stuff like how I loaded the dishwasher. At first, I didn't take it personally. Work stress does that to people. Then her mum got sick. Her mum lives about 40 minutes away, and Dana's always had a complicated relationship with her. Her mum is the type who can make you feel guilty just by breathing near you. But she's still her mum, and when she got diagnosed with early-stage dementia, Dana sort of crumpled. I still remember the night we got the call. Dana was sitting at the kitchen table with her phone in her hand, and she just stared straight ahead like she'd left her body. The oven timer was going off because I had some chicken in there, and it just beeped and beeped until I turned it off. Dana whispered, "I can't do this." So I did what I thought a husband is supposed to do. I stepped in. I started going with her to her mum's appointments. I took over more around the house. I handled the grocery shopping, the bills, the dog's vet appointment. I tried to make her life lighter. I kept telling myself it was a season. It would pass. You don't keep score in a marriage when it's your person struggling. There were little moments where I thought, okay, we're still us. Like when I'd bring her coffee in bed on a Saturday and she'd smile like she used to, rubbing her eyes, hair all messed up. Or when we'd be driving back from her mum's place and she'd reach over and squeeze my hand, quiet but present. But slowly, those moments got fewer. Dana started staying late at work more. At first, it made sense. She said her new boss was piling things on her. Then she started going in on weekends sometimes, just to catch up. And she started protecting her phone like it was a second heart. I'm not proud of this, but I noticed patterns. She used to leave her phone on the counter while she showered. Now she took it into the bathroom. She used to fall asleep with it on the nightstand. Now it was under her pillow, screen down. If I walked into the room, she'd tilt it slightly or lock it fast. One night I was on the couch watching some dumb home renovation show, and Dana was sitting at the other end, scrolling. I got up to throw something away, and as I walked behind her, she flinched, like I'd walked in on her naked. That's when I started feeling that low-level nausea that doesn't go away. That quiet, constant, something's wrong feeling. But here's the thing. When someone you love is going through a hard time, you don't want to be the guy who makes it worse by being paranoid. You don't want to be selfish. You tell yourself you're imagining it. You tell yourself she's grieving her mum's decline. You tell yourself she's depressed. You tell yourself you're being insecure. I told myself all of that, and I doubled down on helping. I started setting reminders on my phone for her mum's meds. I built a spreadsheet for her appointments. I spent my lunch breaks calling insurance companies and sitting on hold listening to that awful music. I fixed the broken gate at her mum's house. I replaced a leaky faucet. I did everything so Dana wouldn't have to. There were nights I'd come home and find Dana already in bed, facing the wall. I'd sit on the edge and rub her shoulder and ask, "You okay?" And she'd say, "I'm just tired." It got to the point where I was basically living with a ghost. She was physically there, but her mind was elsewhere. She didn't laugh at my stupid jokes anymore. She didn't ask about my day. She didn't even complain much. It was like she'd shut down. Then, out of nowhere, she started trying again. It was almost confusing. She started cooking dinner a couple of nights a week. She started asking me if I wanted to go for a walk after work. She even suggested we take a weekend trip, just to get away. I remember thinking, okay, maybe we're coming out the other side. Maybe she's turning a corner. We went up to a little town about 2 hours away, stayed at this quiet bed and breakfast with creaky floors and terrible coffee. We walked around antique shops. We had dinner at a small Italian place. She laughed at something the waiter said. She held my hand across the table. That night, she kissed me in a way that felt intentional, like she was trying to convince herself as much as me. But I didn't question it. I wanted it so badly, I just took it. On the drive home, she was unusually chatty. She talked about maybe switching jobs, maybe doing something different. She even joked about getting a second dog. For about 3 days after that, I felt hopeful. Then the phone habits got worse. One morning, Dana was in the shower, and her phone lit up on the nightstand. I wasn't trying to snoop, it was just there, lighting up like a beacon in a dark room. I saw the message preview pop up. It wasn't a name, it was just a number, and the message said, "Still thinking about last night? You okay?" I stared at it like I couldn't make my brain process the words. Last night. Last night she'd told me she was going to bed early because she had a headache. My heart started thumping so hard I could feel it in my throat. I stood there frozen. Then I heard the shower turn off and I panicked and walked out like I hadn't seen anything. Dana came into the bedroom, towel drying her hair, and she reached for her phone so fast it was almost funny. Except it wasn't funny. It was terrifying. I sat at the kitchen table and drank my coffee, even though it tasted like cardboard. My hands were shaking a little. Dana was humming to herself while she made toast, acting normal. I kept waiting for her to say something, anything, like she knew I'd seen it. She didn't. That's the part people don't always tell you about suspicion. It's not just the fear of the truth. It's the weird, lonely realization that the other person might be living in a completely different reality from you, and you're the only one who knows it. I didn't confront her right away. I know some people would. They'd demand the phone, demand answers. I didn't. I felt like I needed to be sure, because once you say the words out loud, you can't take them back. so I watched. I hated myself for watching, but I did. Dana started running errands more. She'd go to the grocery store and be gone an hour and a half, coming back with one bag. She started wearing perfume again, which she hadn't done in years. She'd change clothes after work, even if we weren't going anywhere. And she started picking little fights with me, like I'd ask her if she wanted chicken or fish for dinner, and she'd snap, "Why do you always ask me like I'm a child? Just make whatever." Or I'd say, "Hey, your mum's appointment is Thursday, right?" And she'd say, "I know my own mother's schedule, okay?" It was like she was trying to make me the bad guy, like she needed to build a case in her own mind that I was annoying, controlling, or useless. And the whole time, I was still doing everything. I was still the one driving to her mum's house to check the mail, still the one dealing with the pharmacy, still the one making sure Dana had clean clothes, a stocked fridge, a car with gas in it. I felt like a caretaker, not a husband. Then came the night that finally cracked it open. Dana told me she had to attend a team dinner with her new boss and a couple co-workers. She said it was mandatory, networking, blah blah. She put on a nicer outfit than usual, did her hair, put on earrings she hadn't worn in years. She looked good, and that hurt in a way I wasn't ready for. She kissed me on the cheek quickly and said, "Don't wait up." I said, "Okay, be safe." She walked out the door, and I stood there in the entryway, listening to her car start and pull away, like a complete idiot. I tried to distract myself. I flipped channels. I loaded the dishwasher. I sat back down. I checked my phone. Nothing. Around 10:30, I got up and went to the kitchen for a glass of water. I looked out the window without thinking, and there was her car, in the driveway, but Dana wasn't in the house. I walked to the front door and opened it. The porch light came on. The driveway was empty. I stood there, confused, barefoot on the cold porch. And then I realized what I'd seen was not her car. It was a similar car. My brain was going so fast I almost laughed at myself, like, great, now I'm hallucinating cars. I went back inside and tried to calm down, but the unease didn't leave. I went back inside and tried to calm down, but the unease didn't leave. I kept the TV on low, like background noise, but I wasn't watching it. I was listening for the garage door, listening for her keys. Every little creak in the house made my stomach clench. Around 11:15, my phone buzzed. Dana. "Dinner ran late. Don't worry, I'm heading home now." It was such a normal text, it almost felt insulting. I stared at it, then typed, "Okay," and deleted it. Then typed it again and sent it anyway. Because what else do you do when you're scared of your own life blowing up? She came in close to midnight. I was on the couch pretending I'd fallen asleep. She moved quietly, like she didn't want to wake me. I felt her pause, like she was looking at me, and then she walked past toward the bedroom. A minute later, I heard the bathroom sink turn on. She was washing her face, maybe brushing her teeth. Normal things, regular wife things. Except my brain kept replaying that message from the number, still thinking about last night. When she slid into bed, she didn't touch me. She just faced away and said, "You up?" "Yeah," I said. "Long night," she mumbled. "How was the team dinner?" I asked, trying to sound casual. She waited half a beat too long. "Fine, just a lot of talking." "Where'd you go?" "The steak place over by the mall." I knew that place. It closed at 10. "Oh," I said, and my voice cracked a little, which made me angry at myself. "Did you guys go somewhere after?" She sighed like I was being difficult. "We had a drink. It's not a crime." "No, it's not," I said. "Just asking." She rolled over enough that I could see her face in the dark. "Why are you doing this?" "Doing what?" "This thing. The questions, the tone." I stared at the ceiling. My heart was pounding again. "Dana, I saw a text on your phone the other morning." Her whole body went still. Not confused still. Caught still. "What text?" she asked. "The one that said, 'Still thinking about last night,' from a number." She sat up, grabbing the sheet to her chest like I'd accused her of something dirty. "You were going through my phone?" "I wasn't. It lit up. I saw it." "So you're spying now?" Her voice got sharper. "That's what we're doing." "I'm not doing anything," I said, and I could hear myself starting to shake. "I'm trying to understand why my wife is getting texts like that." For a second she looked like she might cry, and I almost let myself fall into that old habit, comfort her, fix it, make it okay. But then her expression shifted, tight, annoyed, like she was tired of keeping up the act. "It was nothing," she said. "Nothing." "Someone from work," she snapped. "It was a joke. You're making this into something because you're bored or something." I sat up too, finally looking at her. "Dana, look at me. Tell me the truth." She stared back, and it hit me then that she wasn't scared of losing me. She was scared of losing control of the story. She swung her legs out of bed. "I'm not having this conversation at midnight." "Okay," I said, and surprised myself with how calm I sounded. "Then we'll have it right now." She stood there in her t-shirt and underwear, arms crossed. "What do you want me to say?" "I want you to unlock your phone and show me," I said. "Show me the thread. Show me who it is." Her laugh was short and mean. "No." That was it. That was the moment. Not the text, not the perfume, not the fights. The flat, confident no from the person I'd been paying bills for and holding up for months. I got out of bed and walked to the dresser where my jeans were draped over a chair. My wallet was in the pocket. I pulled out a little card I'd almost forgotten about. A couple of years back, when Dana kept losing her Apple ID password, she'd made me a recovery contact. We'd laughed about it. "In case I get hit by a bus," she'd said. I hadn't thought about it once during her mum's illness, during the depression, during any of it. It was just a stupid admin thing. Now I stared at the card in my hand and felt cold all over. Dana noticed. "What are you doing?" "I'm going to ask you one more time," I said. "Are you cheating on me?" Her jaw clenched. Unbelievable. "Dana!" She looked away. And that was answer enough, but she still tried to dodge it. "It's not like that," she said quietly. I let out this sound that was somewhere between a laugh and a cough. "That's what you're going with? Not like that?" She started pacing, rubbing her forehead like I was giving her a headache. "I didn't plan for any of this." "Who is he?" I asked. She stopped. "His name is Mark." I didn't even react right away. "Mark from work." She nodded once, like it was a confession in church. "How long?" My voice sounded far away to me. She hesitated. "A few months." A few months. The months I was driving to her mum's. The months I was filling prescriptions. The months I was making sure she ate something besides crackers. The months I was telling myself, this is marriage, this is what you do when it gets hard. I sat back down on the edge of the bed because my legs went weak. And the weekend trip? I asked. The cooking? The walks? That was what, guilt? Or were you trying to, what, balance it out? She swallowed. I was trying to be better. While you were sleeping with somebody else. She flinched like I'd slapped her. I didn't say, Dana, stop. I held up my hand. Stop correcting my wording. Answer the question. Her eyes got wet then, and for a second she looked like the Dana I remembered. It just happened. I stared at her, and I could feel something in me shutting down too, like a door closing. I said, Did you bring him here? No, she said quickly. No, never. Do you love him? She didn't answer right away, and that pause told me everything all over again. I don't know, she finally whispered. I felt alive. That one landed in a way the rest of it didn't, because it made me picture all the nights she'd been tired, all the mornings she'd been distant, all the times she'd looked through me like I was furniture. I'd been here, steady and boring and reliable, and somewhere else she'd been alive. I stood up. I'm sleeping in the guest room. Dana followed me down the hall, her voice rising. So that's it? You're just leaving? I'm not leaving, I said, opening the guest room door. I'm moving 10 feet away so I don't have to look at you right now. She started crying for real then, but it felt almost performative, like she needed to cry so she could tell herself she wasn't the villain. You don't understand what it's been like, she said. My mum, everything. I was drowning. I understand, I said, and my voice surprised me again. I was there. I was holding you up. That's why this feels insane. She wiped her cheeks. I didn't think you'd ever find out. I looked at her. That's the first honest thing you've said. She went quiet. I shut the door in her face, and I stood there in the dark guest room, staring at the bedspread with the stupid floral pattern we'd never replaced. I could hear the TV still murmuring in the living room. I could hear her sniffing in the hallway like she didn't know where to put herself. I didn't sleep. The next morning she tried to act like we could talk our way back to normal. She made coffee. She set out 2 mugs like it was any other Tuesday. I watched her hands shake a little as she poured the creamer. I'll end it, she said without looking at me. I swear. I leaned on the counter, exhausted. You already ended something, just not with him. She started crying again. Please. We can fix this. I thought about all the fixing I'd done, all the times I'd swallowed my own feelings because hers were bigger, all the times I'd told myself it's just a season, we'll get through it. I said, I'm calling a lawyer. Her face changed fast, fear, then anger. So you're just throwing me away? I almost laughed at the wording. Dana, you threw us away. You just wanted me to keep paying the bills while you did it. That hit her hard. She opened her mouth, then shut it. And for once, she didn't have a comeback. I called in sick to work and drove around for a while because I couldn't stand being in the house with her. I ended up in a grocery store parking lot, sitting in my car, staring at families loading bags into trunks like it was some different planet. When I got home, Dana was on the couch texting like her life depended on it. She didn't even try to hide it anymore. When she saw me, she said, Mark says you're being dramatic. I stopped in the doorway. He said that. She nodded. almost proud of it, like having backup made her right. I felt this weird calm come over me, like my body had finally stopped fighting for something that wasn't there. "Okay," I said. "Then Mark can help you figure out rent." Her eyes widened. "What?" "I'm not leaving today," I said. "But you need to understand something. This isn't a negotiation. We're done." She got up, voice shaking. "You can't just decide that." I looked at her for a long time. "You decided it months ago. I'm just catching up." The divorce took 8 months. No big courtroom scene, just paperwork, meetings, quiet little humiliations. Splitting the bank accounts, cancelling the joint credit card, watching her pack boxes while the neighbour's lawnmower buzzed outside like it was any ordinary weekend. She moved into an apartment across town. Her mum passed 2 months later, and that was its own mess. Dana tried to call me the night it happened. I saw her name on my phone, and I just stared at it until it stopped ringing. I hated myself for that, but I didn't call back. A week after the funeral, she emailed me. Not even a text, an email. She wrote, "I wish you'd been there. I didn't mean to lose you too." I read it 3 times and didn't respond. The last time I saw Dana in person was at the bank, signing one final set of forms. She looked thinner, older, tired in a way that didn't look like depression anymore. It looked like consequences. We stood near the door afterward, and it was awkward, like running into someone you used to know in high school. She said, "Are you okay?" I wanted to say a lot of things. I wanted to ask if Mark was worth it. I wanted to tell her how many nights I'd sat alone in the guest room listening to her phone buzz. I wanted to tell her the way trust doesn't come back, it just leaves a space. But the truth was simpler. "I'm getting there," I said. She nodded like she understood, but I don't think she really did. Then she walked out, and that was it. These days, the house is quieter. It's weird how fast you adjust. I still do the normal stuff, work, errands, mow the lawn, make dinner. I still drive past that bed and breakfast sometimes on the highway sign and feel my stomach tighten for a second. But most nights I sit at my kitchen table with a plain cup of coffee, and I don't have to wonder who's texting in the other room. I don't have to guess what reality I'm living in. It's just me, the quiet hum of the fridge, and a life that finally feels honest again, even if it's lonelier than I planned.